Electrical safety. Electricity is a powerful but safe energy when it is treated with care and with a common sense attitude to safety. An awareness of safe practices is essential in order to minimize the risk of injury or death. The old saying, "a little learning is a dangerous thing," is very relevant when it comes to an electrical installation. Handyman-type installations and temporary repairs consistently feature in the records of fatal and other serious electrical accidents on farms. Engaging a registered electrical contractor to carry out work in accordance with the ETCI wiring rules is always the correct action. Then, having your installation checked regularly and kept in good order will help to make sure that you, your family, your employees and visitors will be protected from unnecessary danger. The main causes of electrical accidents on farms. Farmers themselves are odd job men carrying out electrical installations on farms without the necessary technical skill. The use of worn, repaired or jointed flexible cables. The use of portable appliances in outdoor conditions without suitable connections. The use of domestic-type plugs, sockets, light switches, etc. for general farm installations. Carelessness in handling loads or machinery close to overhead and underground power lines and cables. Milking parlours and livestock sheds. The importance of equipotential bonding. Because cattle are even more sensitive to electrical shock than humans, it is crucially important to minimize voltage differences which can occur between metal components and earth in locations such as milking parlours and livestock sheds. The way this is done is through equipotential bonding. What this means is that every part of the exposed metalwork is electrically bonded together and bonded to earth so that there are no potentially dangerous voltage differences to cause electric shock. Switchgear and electrical equipment. The national wiring rules frequently refer to IP ratings for electrical equipment and fittings. All switchgear, plugs and sockets used on farm buildings must be of an industrial type. They must offer a minimum IP44 degree of protection against the entry of foreign objects and moisture. Plugs and sockets. Two types and sizes will cover almost all uses on farms. The 16 amp size will supply most portable tools, but the larger 32 amp size should be used for electric welders. Plugs and sockets for use in areas likely to be hosed down must have a higher degree of protection against water, IP55. Outdoor floodlights on farms will be subject to severe weather conditions, and a protection rating of IP55 is recommended. Portable tools. Low voltage equipment operating at 110 volts from a transformer is to be recommended in more onerous conditions. If it's not possible to operate equipment at reduced voltage, it should be used through appropriate sockets, which are protected by means of 30 mA RCDs. Before using any portable equipment, it should be carefully inspected for any damage. Particular attention should be paid to the flexes and any worn or damaged ones replaced before use. Residual current device, RCD. In simple terms, an RCD, formerly known as an earth leakage circuit breaker or ELCB, detects an abnormal leakage of electricity from a circuit, as would occur when a cable is damaged or when a fault develops on an appliance or portable electric tool, perhaps due to loose wires or presence of moisture. It responds almost instantaneously to such leakage and disconnects or shuts off the supply from the circuit. It is a legal requirement that a circuit supplying a socket outlet must be protected by a residual current device, having a tripping current not exceeding 30 milliamps. All RCDs should be checked for correct functioning regularly by operating the test switch, at least twice a year, say at the changing of the hour. Electric fences. Mains electric fence equipment is widely used on farms and has featured in a number of fatal electrical accidents. To prevent danger, the maximum discharge energy should be 5 joules per impulse. The control unit should not be installed near flammable materials. Should be protected from mechanical damage. Should not be mounted on ESP networks or telephone poles. Must have a minimum degree of IP54 electrical protection if located outdoors. Never run a fence parallel to power lines. Fence earth must be a minimum of 10 metres from main installation earth. Never electrify barbed wire because of difficulty in breaking free. Care in relation to overhead lines and underground cables. Contact with overhead lines or underground power cables can lead to electrocution. The majority of accidents occur through failure to notice the lines and to take sensible precautions. ESP network lines on steel lattice towers carry voltages of up to 400,000 volts. Those carried on wooden poles may have voltages of up to 110,000 volts. The higher the voltage, the greater is the clearance necessary for safety. High voltage overhead lines are invariably bare, that means without insulation. So if contact is made by a silage harvester, a loader, a ladder, slurry jet or water jet, there is a very high risk of fatal or severe shock. The most common type of machinery fatality involves silage harvesters coming into contact with overhead lines. Safety checks for overhead and underground electrical cables. Are underground cables buried at least 750 millimeters or 2 foot 6 inches below the surface and mechanically protected where necessary? Where underground cables emerge from the ground and are fixed to walls and buildings, are they mechanically protected for 1.25 metres or 4 foot 6 inches above ground level? Are all overhead electric cables at least 6 metres or 20 foot above ground level, especially over roads or gateways used by high loads or machines? Clearance and using machinery. Don't move tall machinery or high loads under or in the vicinity of overhead lines until the clearances have been checked and are safe. Don't burn stubble or light fires under or close to ESP lines or poles. When spreading slurry, keep it away from power lines and poles. Don't assume that fallen overhead lines are dead. Contact the ESP immediately. Never try to remove a fallen tree from overhead lines. Do be aware of the danger associated with trees growing into overhead lines. Advise ESP networks if you feel that such trees may be hazardous. Do take extreme care when moving large objects, ladders, slurry pipes, etc., near overhead lines. In general, keep long items in a horizontal position when moving them. Never touch or go near fallen wires. Vehicle accidents. If a farm vehicle or its attachments comes into contact with a live overhead line or underground cable, the greatest danger arises if someone makes contact with the vehicle and ground simultaneously. The driver will usually remain safe by staying inside the cab, but is in great danger if attempting to climb down while the vehicle is in contact with a live line. What to do? Keep away from the vehicle and from anything attached to it. Never touch it. Call ESP networks at 1850 372 999 immediately. If the vehicle is not tangled in the line and is still operating, it can be carefully backed away until contact is broken. Similarly, a tipper or high lift attachment can be lowered or withdrawn. If a driver must leave the vehicle, then he or she must literally jump clear so as not to touch the vehicle and the ground simultaneously. He or she must not go back to the vehicle, nor should anyone else approach it until it is confirmed and certain that the power has been fully disconnected. Remember, have regular inspection and maintenance of your electrical installation carried out by a competent person. Ensure that all electrical equipment and fittings are designed for farm use, in accordance with ETCI rules. Keep well clear of overhead power lines and underground power cables. For more information, read Farm Well, Farm Safely, published by ESB Networks.